and caliber cruise missiles, the same type of conventional missiles as you mentioned Russia is already firing into Ukraine. The U.S. has only 200 tactical nuclear weapons in its arsenal, and only 100 of these are deployed right now across 5 bases in Europe and Turkey. Now here's Nikki Haley's reaction to President Biden.
As a leader, what he should be doing is, one, you don't rile up Americans, you calm them down, you let them know you've got it under control. So it makes me worry if he's ready for this.
It's not clear, Neil, what the U.S. reaction would be should Russia decide to launch a low-yield nuclear strike in Ukraine.
Lucas, thank you for that. I think, Lucas, a little scary. Let's go to Lieutenant Colonel Bob McGinnis. So many best-selling books, Kings of the East, the latest. Colonel, let's just cut to the chase. Can you see Vladimir Putin making good on a tactical nuclear weapon threat?
I can. Last week, Neil, he said the U.S. created a precedent back in '45 with the attacks on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And that was a direct reference to his ultimatum that he had given just days prior. Also keep in mind that Putin has isolated himself. He's not listening to his ministers. He's relying upon his inner circle to advise him. And he's very matter of fact, black and white. He said, look, I've taken tens of thousands of casualties in Ukraine. The southern and eastern part of Ukraine is the old part of the Russian Empire. I have every intention of resurrecting that. And oh, by the way, we just annexed 4 regions, and if NATO decides to stick its nose in there, that gives us the pretext to strike out at NATO. So I think the deck is stacked. Now, I would argue that what Mr. Biden said the other day is hyperbole. Clearly a reference to Armageddon I don't think is appropriate given the White House's walkback. But this is not 1962, the Cuban Missile Crisis. Mr. Biden is not JFK, and Ukraine is not a NATO ally. So there's a lot of things that are really muddying the water here. But I do believe that Putin, under certain circumstances, given the pressure he's getting, would make that terrible decision.
I hadn't thought until you just mentioned at the outset of your remarks, Colonel, that Putin could justify saying, well, the U.S. did it twice in 1945. Now, of course, the distinction was that we were at war. But I guess he's thinking, well, I'm at war too. I'm dealing with Ukraine. He would have to know that there would be a response, though, and to assume otherwise would be almost more worrisome. What do you think?
Well, there's likely a response. Jake Sullivan, National Security Advisor to the President, said the other day, essentially that, yes, we'd respond, but not necessarily in like kind. We wouldn't necessarily use those so many U.S. nuclear weapons that are in the region. Likely what we would do is use economic, diplomatic means to go after them. Some have suggested that we would attack Russian forces in Crimea and in the east, but already the Ukrainians have decimated much of what the Russians have lost over the last couple of weeks. This is not a nice time. I think we could have averted this war back in January, but we failed to do that. And now we're at a very serious tipping point. I think if we continue to supply the Ukrainians with the means to kill more Russians, if in fact the Russians don't do any better in the near term against the Ukrainians, and of course Mr. Putin feels locked in and desperate to get out of his domestic woes, he might, and justifiably from his perspective, use a 10 or a 20 KT nuclear weapon in the eastern part of that country against the Ukrainians to break up the offense. Now, that won't stop the war. The Ukrainian forces are feeling their own, but...
Let me ask you, showing ignorance, Colonel, about such a weapon dropped on Hiroshima and later Nagasaki in the same league? Or Vietnam War protests, so many protesting and trying to leave the country.
I think here recently when he met with President Xi of China, at the Shanghai Cooperative Organization in Uzbekistan.
World, to put it mildly. Colonel, thank you very, very much for your read on this. Again, we should update you that there has been some destruction on that Ukraine and elsewhere of that bridge now destroyed. And yet this could be seen as another sort of a desperate move on the part of Vladimir Putin and how to respond, because many lands that he has annexed, for example, are under Ukrainian attack, and in the case of one of those lands, now back under Ukrainian control. So he is being pinned in a corner, and that old notion of what a wounded animal does when pinned in a corner is what's raising all this nuclear talk. Scary stuff. Scary stuff as well in this country, in Las Vegas. We're learning more about the guy behind those stabbings that killed 2, injured a number of others. He wasn't a legal citizen after this.
Hello, Grandma. That's when I realized we can't let another year go by. This is the plan to finally connect with our family's heritage. Start your financial plan today.
From out of the blue, every room can be more innovative. With some of that, and a whole lot of this. Meet our exclusive dent and scratch resistant Stainmaster laminate. Check out our most innovative products, only at Lowe's.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and my employees and I want to thank each and every one of you for your support by bringing you the MyPillow that started it all. MyPillow's patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs regardless of your sleep position. Because it works, we've sold over 70 million MyPillows, and now I'm bringing it to you for the lowest price ever. For example, you get my standard MyPillow now only $19.88 with your promo code. Now's it, and every one of you for your support by bringing you the MyPillow that started it all. MyPillow's patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs regardless of your sleep position. Because it works, we've sold over 70 million MyPillows, and now I'm bringing it to you for the lowest price ever. For example, you get my standard MyPillow now only $19.88. For a more custom fit, my Premium Queen, only $24.98. Or my Premium King, only $29.98. This is a limited time offer, so order now.
If your business kept on employees through the pandemic, GetRefunds.com can qualify you for a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee, even if you got PPP. And all it takes is 8 minutes to find out. Then we'll work with you to fill out your forms and submit the application. That easy. GetRefunds.com has helped businesses like yours claim over $1 billion in payroll tax refunds. But it's only available for a limited time. Go to GetRefunds.com, powered by Innovation Refunds.
The table gets all the credit for bringing people together, but with Cuisinart in the kitchen, lasting memories are made. It's where recipes are perfected, lessons are taught, and everyone gets to taste. The Cuisinart stand mixer is the perfect addition to your kitchen. Whip up small or large batches of your favorites, faster than ever. With a high-performance motor, large capacity bowl, and 12 precision speeds. Family memories are now in the making with Cuisinart's Precision Master Stand Mixer.
The Real Real, authenticated luxury from Gucci, Rolex, Prada, Louis Vuitton, Hermes, Cartier, Tiffany, and more.
Find your real.
Hundreds of luxury brands, up to 90% off retail, only at The Real Real. Shop now and get 20% off at TheRealReal.com. Terms apply.
It seems like things are falling apart lately. The economy, the market, everything. But Upwork lets you strategically hire talent to weather all ups and downs your business might go through. Look at all that talent.
We are learning a lot more about that series of stabbings in broad daylight along the Las Vegas Strip, particularly about the guy potentially behind it. He's an illegal immigrant with a criminal record. Alexandra Off has more from Washington. Alexandria.
Hi, Neil. 32-year-old Yoni Barrios will be charged with 2 counts of murder and 6 counts of attempted murder. He appeared in court for a brief bail review hearing yesterday. And you can see those orange padded hand coverings placed on him there. It indicates that he still posed some threat, at least, to himself or to others at that point. And it was just one day after Barrios allegedly went on an erratic and deadly rampage, stabbing 8 people, a mix of tourists and residents on the Las Vegas Strip. Local station KTNV reporting that the suspect was set off when a group of showgirls refused to take a picture with him, taking out his rage on the group and others, killing 47-year-old Brent Ellett and 30-year-old Maris DiGiovanni. Now, Barrios was caught running down the strip, and a source with Immigration and Customs Enforcement tells Fox News that he is a Guatemalan national who is in the U.S. illegally with a criminal record already in California. Clark County District Attorney Steve Wolfson said deportation is not the first priority here. Instead, this could be a death penalty case.
This is a pretty serious case, and we look at all the facts and circumstances like any other case. We are going to give this serious consideration, but it's so new, it's so early on that whether or not we file the notice of intent to seek the death penalty will be a decision made in the next 30 to 60 days.
Barrios will be formally arraigned, that is, on Tuesday. Neil.
Alexandria, thank you very much for that. In the meantime, here, focusing on the migrant buses that keep coming and coming, some expected, some unexpected. In New York, it's gotten to the point where the mayor is saying he has a state of emergency and $1 billion crisis. And he's calling out no less than the President of the United States after this.
We call on thee with one request, help our intentions manifest.
Yes, Salem, we're back!
This Hallows Eve, Lovesac Stealth Tech gives you and your witches a front row seat to Salem. Lovesac Sactionals can be upgraded with surround sound by Harman Kardon and wireless charging hidden inside.
The Sanderson sisters. I bet you're looking for the stage.
Always. Disney's Hocus Pocus 2, now streaming only on Disney Plus. Rated PG. Don't just hear it, feel it at a Lovesac showroom near you.
This is going to be great. Taking the shawl off. Is he looking at my hairline?
Is plaque psoriasis making you rethink your everyday choices? Otezla is a pill, not a cream or injection, that can help people with plaque psoriasis achieve clearer skin. And no routine blood tests required. Don't use if you're allergic to Otezla. Otezla can cause serious allergic reactions. It may cause severe diarrhea, nausea, or vomiting. Otezla is associated with an increased risk of depression. Tell your doctor if you have a history of depression or suicidal thoughts, or if these feelings develop. Some people taking Otezla reported weight loss. Your doctor should monitor your weight and may stop treatment. Upper respiratory tract infection and headache may occur. Tell your doctor about your medicines and if you're pregnant or planning to be. Doctors have been prescribing Otezla for over 8 years. Don't hesitate. Ask your doctor about Otezla today.
I never had so many compliments about the way my skin looks.
The secret is BioSil's patented CHOSA formula that generates and protects your own collagen for glowing skin, thicker hair, strong, smooth nails, and healthy joints. Try BioSil's advanced collagen generator today.
As prices at the pump bounce back up, what's being done to help Americans? And will it sway voters at the midterms? Shannon has the insight you need on the next Fox News Sunday.
Have you heard? The United States Mint has issued the Morgan Silver Dollar for the first time in 100 years. Not only that, but they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 175,000 legal tender silver dollars were issued. These Morgan Silver Dollars are brand new, bright and shiny legal tender coins minted by the iconic Philadelphia Mint. Just call 1-800-222-0984 and you are guaranteed a new 99.9% pure silver Morgan dollar. The first time in history this has happened, but with limited quantities you must call now to order. To learn more, call 1-800-222-0984. If you order now, you'll receive a free collector bonus, a $25 value free with every order. Call 1-800-222-0984 now to secure your new Morgan Silver Dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-222-0984.
Attention, all users of the Weed Killer Roundup. If you or a loved one were diagnosed with non-Hodgkin lymphoma after using the Weed Killer Roundup, you may qualify for financial compensation. Call Liberty Legal to determine your eligibility now. It has been determined in court that Monsanto failed to warn Roundup users that the glyphosate in Roundup was a probable cancer-causing carcinogen. Call Liberty Legal now to see if you qualify for financial compensation.
Call 800-720-8009.
This is going to take a national coordination, and it should be handled at the border. Should be handled at the border. The far right is doing the wrong thing. The far left is doing nothing. I mean, the silence, I don't believe the silence that I'm hearing.
All right, New York Mayor Eric Adams declaring a state of emergency in New York right now. He's got a lot of migrants to deal with. We're told as many as 8 more migrant buses arriving today. In case you're keeping track, that makes more than 17,000 illegal migrants who've arrived in the Big Apple, tens of thousands more all across the country, and we're not even including the 10 times that number that have made their way into this country and planed out all over the country, courtesy of the President of the United States, working in conjunction with ICE. Be that as it may, it is the crisis very much that Adams is relaying, but not much progress on anyone doing anything to alleviate that. Griff Jenkins at Eagle Pass with you again. Griff.
Hey, good morning, Neil. And Mayor Adams is continuing to get those buses from Texas Governor Greg Abbott because Abbott's border towns like Eagle Pass, where I am in the Del Rio sector, are continuing to be overwhelmed in an unprecedented way. Neil, in the 1 week I've been here, there have been more than 10,700 migrant encounters. In the last 24 hours, there was 1,583. Now, yesterday, Governor Abbott was touting what his Texas DPS Operation Lone Star has been doing. Here is a little bit of what to give you a sense for it. He says that since it began last year in April, Operation Lone Star has had some 311,000 apprehensions. They've been busing more than 12,000 migrants to cities just like New York, D.C., and Chicago. And he says there's been 20,500 criminal arrests, of which 18,000 were felonies. Now, they also on the drug front, because remember, the deadly fentanyl seizures, which is off the charts, is part of this. He says that Operation Lone Star has seized some 337 million lethal doses of it. We spent this week with Texas DPS troopers. One of them, Jacqueline Gooding, says that there's no end in sight until something changes. Take a listen to what she said.
Until something changes from a federal aspect where there are actually consequences to coming in this country illegally that are real and valid and somewhat scary, like you're actually going to face some sort of legitimate consequence, this will not change. It will continue to get worse.
Meanwhile, Neil, human smuggling is surging in a dangerous way. Take a look at this video and these images. This is over in Hidalgo County in the Rio Grande Valley. A call from a citizen came into the sheriff's deputies there, and they rescued 84 migrants in a trailer. Those migrants much luckier than the 53 that died in that trailer in San Antonio back in June. And then finally, let me just show you one last startling piece of video. This, Neil, is a TikTok video. It was verified by Texas DPS. In it, you see an advertisement seeking a driver to drive from McAllen to Houston, offering $70,000. That is how the cartels are absolutely continuing to use social media to take advantage of this situation. Since I've been on the ground, I've been here since October 1st. That was the beginning of this fiscal year. In just this sector alone, Neil, in Del Rio, there have been more than 75 smuggling attempts thwarted, but we don't know how many got through. Neil?
$70,000 is a very attractive offer to get truckers to do just what you're saying. Just incredible, Griffin. It goes on and on.
It does. No end in sight, and that's why Governor Abbott says those buses are going to continue to roll because he wants to keep the attention on what's happening down here on the border. Perhaps Mayor Adams wants to come down. He can see it for himself all day long.
All right, we'll watch it closely. Griff, thank you very, very much. Well, my next guest has a message, I guess, for Eric Adams, and that would be welcome to my world. Javier Villalobos is the McAllen, Texas mayor, kind enough to join us. Mayor, it's now a crisis, a state of emergency, according to the New York mayor. I'm sure those in other locales that have been dealing with migrants, including some they didn't count on coming from the administration, are beginning to say the same. What do you think?
Well, actually, I think it's an issue that we've had since 2014, so it's nothing new. Welcome to our world. Anyway, I mean, what we have, actually, what New York, what the northern area is having is what we've had for quite a few years. And we keep on telling, of course, the administration, do what we have to do. We know that nothing's going to happen. We're at the midterms, but it keeps on worsening. What we have right now, fortunately, for us, it has shifted a little bit to the Del Rio, the Eagle Pass area. but we still get 100, 150 asylum seekers a day. And then illegal entries, or attempts anyway, are out of the chart. It's incredible what's going on, and something has to be done.
You know, Mayor, if you can explain the process to me, once they seek asylum and they're in your state, you can't force them back, right? So explain the process.
What we do here in McAllen is we generally, the city has been working with an NGO. They come, and then as fast as
it's a non-government organization you're talking about there.
Correct.
Got it. Continue.
Correct.
I'm sorry.
So we transport them out. We cannot hold them, but we're fortunate that at least the asylum seekers go through the process because they're free to do whatever they want to do. But that's not too much of the issue anymore. Now we have just the illegal entries, and it has shifted from asylum seekers to illegal entries, just trying to come regardless of any law.
So, Mayor, it's always amazing to me that we can't track them down in many cases, but it seems the drug cartels can. And they know where they are, and they're expecting them to do things for them. That's a very scary proposition right there.
It actually is. I think actually they may have a little more teeth than we do over here. They organize, they do what they're supposed to do, I guess, south of the border. Once they come over here, it's a little bit difficult. And with what we currently have, how do we enforce it? Of course, we always say, as a municipality, we have absolutely no authority. It's up to the feds.
So if the feds don't do anything, and they have this policy right now, I know it gets different reactions. We're all for just keeping it consistent here, Mayor, that if you're going to complain, and some sanctuary cities are, about buses or planes that make their way filled with illegal migrants, but they haven't said much about those, and there are far more of them, that the administration, ships and planes, more to the point, all over the place, oftentimes in the middle of the night without any sort of warning or a heads up to local authorities. That's the definition of out of control.
It is. And what we have here right now, we have people complaining about what's going on, what Governor Abbott is doing. But Governor Abbott, at least the way we see it here for South Texas, is doing something that's beneficial. What we're doing, or at least what they're doing, is sending the asylum seekers to the general area where they want to be. And that's exactly what we do over here, too. Logistically, that's what we're doing. Last year, when we had in excess of 1,500 a day, that's what we were doing. It's nothing different. If that's the general area, that's where they want to go, that's where they should be sent.
So at this point, and the numbers being what they are, it's going to be a record year, more than 2 million getting through, hundreds of thousands of gotaways here. We're looking at an illegal population that has swung to more than 5 million, we're told, in this country. That's a lot of people to process and handle for guys like you. And not that you handle all of them, but that number keeps exponentially, essentially doubling.
It does, and that's kind of one of the things that we think about. Instead of perhaps IRS agents, maybe we need to do more immigration judges or something to speed things up. Because the way it's working, well, actually, it's not working. So we definitely need to do something.
Wow. Mayor, thank you for taking the time. We appreciate it. And we'll keep showing these numbers as we do on our website. I've asked this to be included on our Fox Business website as well, because it's a big economic issue as well as an emotionally tolling personal one. But we figured that this is not a crisis that Fox is fixated on. This is a crisis the country should be fixated on. In the meantime, the fixation with electric vehicles, unless you have a power outage and you can't use them, or you have floods and you can't use them, or you have serious floods and the batteries start lighting up on fire. Oh yeah, and if you have a utility structure like they do in California, where you have a call to sort of conserve your use of them, the big push that you might want to slow down on after this.
All across the country, people are working hard to build a better future. So we're hard at work, helping them achieve financial freedom. We're proud to serve people everywhere in investing for the retirement they envision. From the plains to the coasts, we help Americans invest for their future and help communities thrive. Invested in the future of Americans. BlackRock.
I'm John O'Hurley, and I want to tell you why I support Paralyzed Veterans of America. It's because of veterans like Al.
I joined the Navy to serve my country as a Navy SEAL. I wanted to protect the people I love and the country I love. Being a SEAL gave me so many things, but I gave something too. While parachuting with my platoon, my parachute didn't open. I broke my neck. It left me paralyzed. I realized that everything I had planned for was now gone. Paralyzed Veterans of America was by my side from that moment on.
For more than 75 years, Paralyzed Veterans of America has kept a promise to our heroes. We'll never leave a fallen soldier behind. They need you now, more than ever. So join me with your monthly support. Please call or go to pvahero.org. Just $19 a month. That's only 63 cents a day. And that will help provide the vital support our paralyzed heroes need now. You'll help PVA provide veterans with specialized medical care and treatments, and fight for benefits they've earned, jobs they want, and the accessible vehicles and homes they need, helping them live their best lives. Call or go online with your gift of $19 a month, and you'll receive this PVA Team t-shirt and show that you are fighting for our paralyzed heroes. With your support, you'll give them back what they fought for: freedom, independence, and a full life.
I just don't think my family would be as happy as they are without the support that I received from Paralyzed Veterans of America.
They fought for our freedom. Now you can give to fight for them. Please call or go to pvahero.org now. Your monthly gift of any amount will help our paralyzed heroes.
The lows of bipolar depression can leave you down and in the dark. But what if you could begin to see the signs of hope all around you? What if you could let in the light? Discover Caplyta. Caplyta is a once-daily pill proven to deliver significant relief from bipolar depression. Unlike some medicines that only treat bipolar 1, Caplyta treats both bipolar 1 and bipolar 2 depression. And in clinical trials, feelings of inner restlessness and weight gain were not common.
Caplyta can cause serious side effects. Call your doctor about sudden mood changes, behaviors, or suicidal thoughts right away. Antidepressants may increase these risks in young adults. Elderly dementia patients have increased risk of death or stroke. Report fever, stiff muscles, or confusion, which may be life-threatening, or uncontrollable muscle movements, which may be permanent. These aren't all the serious side effects.
In the darkness of bipolar 1 and 2 depression, Caplyta can help you let in the light. Ask your doctor about Caplyta from Intracellular Therapies.
All right, this was a tough week if you want cheaper energy prices. Oil jumping more than 14% on the week. Gas prices, in case you're counting now, have been jumping for 17 straight days, 17 of the past 18 days, I should say. And that was after we were going through 99 days of straight decline. So gas prices on the rise, oil on the rise. And right now you have the added sort of wound, if you will, of the Saudis leading OPEC and OPEC plus countries on what will be a 2 million barrel a day cut in production. That was not greeted too favorably by the White House. Kelly O'Grady with us right now from Los Angeles. Kelly.
Yeah, Neil, on my way into work today, I had to be here for your show, but I also had to get gas. I paid $6.93 a gallon. And so that just shows you that the falling prices of the last few months are really a distant memory. Like you said, gas prices rising 17 of the last 18 days. The national average today is $3.90. That's already 10 cents higher than a week ago. And I want to point out roughly 40% higher than when the president took office. And that's only going to get worse, largely because of OPEC's planned production cut of 2 million barrels per day. We were expecting roughly 1, so that was a big shock. And many are calling the announcement a slap in the face after the president visited Saudi Arabia recently. Already in the last week, oil prices have risen nearly 20%, and they're hovering right now at roughly 92 per barrel.
Obviously, what OPEC did the other day is not helpful, but it proves that we have to be less dependent on foreign energy.
But rather than produce here, reports indicate the Biden administration may simply be turning to more foreign energy, this time Venezuela. In response to a reporter question on the matter this week, the president admitted there are a lot of alternatives and they have not made up their minds yet. Another alternative in consideration is taking even more oil out of the strategic petroleum reserves. Reserves, by the way, intended to be used for disasters like Hurricane Ian and that are at their lowest levels since 1984. And so I want to underscore this won't just be felt at the pump. You know, this is going to be felt in diesel prices. They get our groceries and our holiday presents to the store. That drives prices up. And as those go up, Neil, so does the likelihood the Fed continues to keep its aggressive rate hike strategy. So it just really starts to snowball.
Yeah, a double whammy there. Kelly, thank you very much for that. Kelly O'Grady. Well, as Kelly pointed out, that may not be the best of environments then to be pushing electric vehicles, right? We've had power outages and the like, and battery problems that had them lighting on fire. In fact, the warnings from the state, don't park your vehicle if you can even get it to start in the garage, could burn your house down. So not a good environment amid a nationwide push to go this route in the years ahead. An issue I raised with the Transportation Secretary of the United States, Pete Buttigieg, earlier this week. Take a look. Much of the power was out across half the state of Florida for a while. Much of it is resumed, sir, but it did make some folks think, boy, these electric vehicles that are being pushed between what happened in Florida and the grid that was compromised to the point where California Governor Newsom wanted people to cool it for a while on when and how often they charge their EVs. Do you think this reminds folks that we're not ready, or the EVs are not ready for prime time?
Well, actually, I think this is a great example of one of the many benefits of those tools. In an extreme event, from a neighborhood resiliency perspective, they can actually work basically like a generator, except that you don't have to have a diesel ready for them. What they're doing is they're using the battery capacity to power a home, and in that sense could be very useful in a scenario like this. Look, I don't think anybody thinks that we're ready sitting here in 2022 for a scenario where, overnight there was some instant transition to electric vehicles.
All right. I heard discussion as well about using the batteries in these cars as generators for a home. That is, if they don't light up on fire. That's been a problem in some areas in Florida where they've been smoking out of control, so much so that the state has put out advisory. If you own an EV, you might want to take it out of your garage for the time being in any one of these affected areas where flooding has actually caused this new, unusual phenomenon here. But again, the issue of just not being ready for prime time amid a nationwide push for this. We've got Catherine Rooney-Vera with us, the Bolton Capital Markets strategist, Steve Moore, economist, a former advisor to President Trump, Democratic strategist Ari Aramesh here as well. Problems in California and the power outages and disaster in Florida.
This is the wave of the future. This is something that we have to focus on. And I want to focus on something a little bigger. That's energy independence. Now, if it goes out, it's going to be hard to pump gas, too, because those gas stations, they're less
No, I agree with what you're saying. But, Steve, the issue is for now, we need them. For now, we're complaining that the Saudis are leading OPEC and OPEC plus countries to curtail production. So we need those nefarious characters.
We would be about 3 million more barrels a day. If we're not running out of oil, we have 250 years worth of oil. We have 300 years we can buy.
Catherine, full disclosure here, I own an electric vehicle. I have nothing against the technology. I think it's pretty neat. Has its limitations. I could digress. But the fact of the matter is, I
have 5. You're trying to evacuate Miami or South Florida and migrate to Georgia or North Carolina, and a Cat 3 or 4 is encroaching quickly upon you and your electric car dies. The same thing, then scarcities loom. I agree with Steve. There's no reason we should be knocking on the door of Venezuela or Iran or Saudi Arabia when we've closed the Dakota pipelines and the Keystone pipelines. The U.S. could be enormously energy independent. We have so much capacity. So it's really, we've handcuffed ourselves and handicapped ourselves into forcing oil prices higher. It's a real tragedy. Germany has encountered the same situation, making themselves wholly vulnerable, Neil, to Russian energy. And now they're firing up, the coal factories. So look, I think both things can coexist. My Tesla is due to arrive in November, so I'm excited about it. But oil prices don't need to be as high as they are. The U.S. should be independent and self-sufficient. And if we invest in ourselves and don't handicap ourselves, Neil, we can be, and oil prices will be lower.
All right, just don't let that Tesla get flooded, and make sure it's not parked in your garage. But I jest. But to make a serious point, these are serious questions that you all raised, and one way, shape, or another we have to address as a country together. I want to thank you all. In the meantime, we were mentioning what's going on in Florida, still going on, the big recovery efforts right now, and the rescue efforts, too. They're still searching for potential victims here. Better than 100 dead in the state. We'll have more after this.
And for veteran homeowners, it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1, call New Day. 2, talk to our team to see how much cash you can get. 3, borrow up to 100% of your home's value with the New Day 100 VA loan. With home values near all-time highs, use your VA benefit to turn the equity in your home into cash in the bank.
Call 1-888-214-7458.
If you're age 50 to 85 and looking to buy life insurance on a fixed budget, remember the 3 Ps.
What are the 3 Ps?
The 3 Ps of life insurance on a fixed budget are price, price, and price. A price you can afford, a price that can't increase, and a price that fits your budget. Cents a month.
I'm 65 and take medications. What's my price?
Also $9.95 a month.
I just turned 80. What's my price?
$9.95 a month for you too. If you're age 50 to 85, call now about the #1 most popular whole life insurance plan available through the Colonial Penn program. It has an affordable rate starting at $9.95 a month. No medical exam, no health questions. Your acceptance is going to never go up for any reason. So call now for free information, and you'll also get this free beneficiary planner. And it's yours free, just for calling. So call now for free information.
Call 1-800-482-1800 for your free information and free gift. That's 1-800-482-1800. 1-800-482-1800. Call now.
The second deployment's the one that really got me. I stepped on a pressure plate IED. That hospital bed, and the thought in your mind is, do you give up or you keep going? So I kept going. I didn't know who was going to take care of me. To know that there's people out there like Tunnel to Towers Foundation. I don't know where I'd be without this smart home. They try to make the home customized to your needs. A smart home for me, the best day of my life because I got to live again.
All right, I want to take you to Fort Myers, Florida, where a lot of the rebuilding efforts continue to go on. Ladies, Will.
Neil, good morning. And while we continue to really show you the scale behind me is Operation Blue Roof. This is a partnership between the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers on their roofs at no cost. This team just arrived here about an hour ago. Already you can see the progress they're making. They are hard at work. This is just meant to be a temporary patch because it could take weeks or months for people to get, completely new roofs. But Miss Barbara, just a few moments ago, she actually rode out the storm in this home. By the way, says she'll never do that again. But she describes her experience and says she's happy to have this help. Take a listen.
The wind just was whooping. It like it was a tornado. It'll whoop, and then it'll come to my front door, and then you'll hear that. It's got to work together to get everything.
An update from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, exactly how many. Still time for others to sign up as well. You can go to foxweather.com. We have some resources there if you have some neighbors here.
When we come.
At Booking.com, finding perfect isn't all that difficult. Beachfront property, no problem. And your perfect place to stay. Booking.com, Booking.yeah.
I'm Sholay, and I lost 75 pounds with Golo. I went from a size 20 to a size 6. Before Golo, nothing seemed to work. I was exercising for over an hour every day. It was really discouraging. But Golo is so easy, the weight just falls off.
Should have called a pro.
I got this. I watch a lot of home improvement shows on Sling TV. I'm gonna need a gallon of spackle, 5 tons concrete, and a stud finder. A big one.
With Sling, be confident you're getting the TV you love for a price you'll love. Sling. Try us today.
My name is Anita. I think the older you get, you realize you need to do everything you can to stay healthy. So Balance of Nature is a great way. It helps give you lots of energy. And it's good to have lots of energy if you're hanging out with your grandkids a lot. I take Balance of Nature so that I can be healthy for them.
Start now by going to balanceofnature.com and don't forget to use discount code FOX News.
A red wave coming to Washington State? How one GOP candidate is closing the gap on a 30-year Senate holder. Tiffany Smiley discusses her strategy to officially flip the seat tonight on One Nation.
We planned well for return.
That they can sell their life insurance policy for cash, so they're basically sitting on a gold mine? I don't think they have a clue in term policies.
I can't believe they're just sitting up there.
Sitting on all this cash.
If you own a life insurance policy of $100,000 or more, you can sell all or part of it to Coventry, even a term policy. For cash.
They're sitting on a gold mine, and you have no idea. Hey, guys! You're sitting on a gold mine! Come on, guys.
Do you hear that?
I don't hear anything anymore.
Or visit CoventryDirect.com.
Force Factor, with more than 40 superfoods for better energy, immunity, digestion, and heart health. Great nutrition is easy and affordable with Smarter Greens. Rush to Walmart for Smarter Greens from Force Factor. Trouble sleeping? Somnipure Melatonin Gummies from Force Factor are the solution. Incredibly delicious Somnipure Melatonin Gummies will help you fall asleep faster, stay asleep longer, and wake up feeling refreshed. Rush to Walmart for Somnipure Gummies from Force Factor.
Last week, Florida, along with her husband, Johnny Parker. Well, you didn't waste any time, Kimberly. You're saying, look, last week it was a disaster, but where your home stands right now?
Yeah, we were sleeping and woke up and we saw pillows floating past us in the living room and decided, he told our son to mark the wall. And we measured it in 30 minutes. It was 2 inches, and he said, we got to get us out of here.
They showed up and got us out of there. Very dog on a jet ski.
I assume the dog is well as well.
Of course.
He is.
All right. And we're showing some pictures of your home.
Friends delivered from North Carolina for us to use.
Wow. Nice friends. What is the state?
We didn't have flood insurance at all, so...
They're saying that pretty much water comes through the door, the back door. It's a flood, which I really don't understand. How a hurricane, the causes all this is not a flood. It's a flood, but not a flood.
Yeah, we have people out here 2 days ago. So you're back.
I wonder, it might be better with you, maybe not. But if they don't cover or cover nearly to
for the entire contents of the house. They gave us $700.
Well, that doesn't help.
For our things. And I mean, we lost everything we own: our refrigerator, our stove, our dishwasher, every piece of clothing I own, she owned.
Thankfully, we have a lot of people stepped up and helped us out. What I really cared about was getting out alive at that moment. When you see your daughter floating by on a beanbag, rebuild the house. I can't rebuild a life.
No, you certainly have your priorities right, guys. I'm just wondering, Johnny, what you were saying there, though. Many of your neighbors are in the same kind of situation. They didn't have the flood insurance. They had some stuck. And I'm told thousands. Anyone what they're going to do about that, or do they tell you that that's your problem?
Yeah, it's our problem.
Yeah, pretty much it's our problem. I mean, we lost everything from both of our vehicles were submerged underwater, and I think it's pretty much just for us, we go figure it out, kind of, you're on your own. Good luck. But that's when I guess the support networks as a community banding together, that's what we have to do.
Our daughter has Sanfilippo syndrome, and it's she requires a lot. So we were very lucky. We called Edgewater PD, and they have a tank, and they were there. They came in our doors and did the yelling of, we're the police and we're here to save you, and they had us in that thing and down that road, and her with every machine she needed, and us able to feel safe. And it was amazing. And the community since.
They're going to say, well, you had the chance to get the insurance. We know it's expensive. You didn't do it. It's on you. What do you say? And why did?
Lived in the house for 14 years. It's $500 a year when I looked at it.
I don't think it's not explained correctly. Whenever you get insurance for a natural disaster, you assume that anything caused. I mean, the normal person that doesn't count. Or that's wind.
I do want to get back to you and want to talk to you again. Maybe next week.
I insist. It's your turn.
Get Farmers, and you could save money with the Safe Driver discount just by having a clean driving record for 3 years. Get a whole lot of something with Farmers policy.
Every room can be more innovative. Scratch-resistant, stain-master laminate. Check out our most innovative products.
Only.
I had to do something. I started Cosentix.
Cosentix can help you move, look, and feel better by treating the multiple symptoms of psoriatic arthritis. Don't use if you're allergic to Cosentix. Before starting, get checked for tuberculosis. An increased risk of infections, some serious, and the lowered ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor about an infection or symptoms, or if you've had a vaccine or about Cosentix.
I'm here to tell you about saving money on your cellular service. All right, here we have cups of coffee from the same pot. These are more expensive. This one, just $1. Network as the larger providers. That's right, the same network for much less. Look at these stats. The average family saves over $70 a month by hassle and no hidden fees. You get unlimited talk, text, and 6 gigs of data for just $30 a month. And remember, you'll get the same number of bars because it's on 50 and Save Pure TV to save 50% off your first month. Pure Talk. Simply smarter wireless.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and my employees and I want to thank each and every one of you for the biggest MyPillow sale ever. Not only are my bed pillows as low as $19.98, but you can get the best body pillows ever. Regular $89.98, now only $20. And we have our new couch and accent pillows. They aren't just for looks. They have MyPillow's patented adjustable fill that gives you that amazing MyPillow comfort. In this economy, you get the best gifts ever for the best prices ever. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code and you get deep discounts on body, couch, bolster pillows, and so much more, including my original bed pillows for as little.
Wanted to share some very good news within the Cavuto Live family right now. Our producer, Brianna Sinigdio, married Forrest Gitman. I guess she's Brianna Gitman now. It depends. That's her call. You might not have seen her, but I can tell you she's the glue to this broadcast. Got us so many of these big events we've done, like the Snackadium for the Super Bowl, so much more. A great life ahead of her, I'm sure. A very lucky guy. I'm sure she keeps reminding Forrest. He doesn't need to be reminded.
A massive fireball engulfing 2 sections of the Kerch Strait Bridge and destroying the only direct road connecting Crimea to the Russian mainland. Russian officials are claiming a Ukrainian truck bomb was behind the blast. Welcome to Fox News Live.
Back in 2018, 4 years after Russia seized Crimea from Ukraine. Trey Yingst.
Good afternoon. A massive explosion early this morning destroyed the only bridge between Russia and pieces of concrete. Investigation is underway into the owner of that vehicle.
Investigative action are being studied.
Russia used this bridge as a main supply line to support Ukraine. As the war rages on in the east, Ukrainian officials say the missile strikes damaged one of the tonight remains on edge for the possibility of more strikes. Molly.
Trey, I want to get your insight to this massive explosion and the hit to the bridge.
Well, Ukrainians this morning were celebrating. The Telegram channels and many of the places where Ukrainians get their information about this war were cheering on the intelligence agencies in this country because they understand. So the ability for the SBU, the intelligence of Ukraine, to get a truck bomb, as the Russians say, onto this bridge and detonate it, causing this much damage, is a significant achievement from the perspective of the Ukrainians. And as this war continues and major cities are getting, who say they are willing to fight until this entire country is liberated. Molly?
All right, Trey Yingst, thank you, highlighting this remarkable strike. Thank you for your reporting. Alicia?
And Molly, the White House is now clarifying President Biden's doomsday warning from earlier this week after he responded to Vladimir Putin's nuclear threat from Wilmington, Delaware, where the president is spending the weekend. Hi, Lucas.
Alicia, it's not clear what the U.S. response would be if Russia launched a low-yield prospect of Armageddon since Kennedy and the Cuban Missile Crisis. We've got a guy I know fairly well. His name's Vladimir Putin. I spent a fair amount of time with him. He's not joking when he talks about the potential use of tactical and nuclear weapons or biological or chemical weapons. The White House press
just our own nuclear posture, nor do we have indications they are preparing to use them.
Alicia, Russia enjoys a large advantage in tactical nuclear warheads. Keep in mind the nuclear warheads the U.S. dropped on Japan were 15 and 21 kilotons respectively, which are technically what many consider tactical nukes today. Russia has 2,000 of these tactical low-yield nukes and can launch them from jets, short-range ballistic missiles, and caliber cruise missiles, the same type of missiles Russia is already firing in Ukraine today. The U.S. has far fewer tactical nukes, about 200 of them in their inventory, and only 100 currently deployed to Europe today, spread across 5 bases, Turkey as well. Here's Nikki Haley's reaction to President Biden.
As a leader, what he should be doing is, one, you don't rile up Americans. You calm them down. You let them know you've got it under control. So it makes me worry if he's ready for this.
And here at home, many economists say the economic picture is also looking grim. U.S. economists saying that U.S. employers lost 30,000 a year ago. Alicia?
Lucas Tomlinson traveling with the president. Thanks, Lucas. Molly?
Well, the latest job report indicates a cooling labor market. The Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, or OPEC, is announcing major production cuts, prompting concerns about possible impacts on gas prices and the global economy overall. Joining me live to weigh in on all of this, Republican Congressman from Wisconsin and ranking member of the House Select Committee on the Economy, Brian Stile. Thank you so much for joining us. We have an enormous amount of ground to cover today. I want to start out with the economy, touting these job numbers. She said, we're in a transition to stable and steady growth. Yet we're seeing all of these other things impacting the economy here in America. Your thoughts?
And the Biden administration wants to keep their head in the sand as to what Americans are feeling every day that is more and more difficult. The energy policies that are trying to make us dependent on foreign sources rather than domestic production. And we still have far too many workers that find themselves on the sidelines rather than back to work. We got to get serious about getting inflation under control. The administration wants to ignore all the warning signs that are coming, but I'm very concerned about the path we're headed on.
Switching over to OPEC, Biden made his plea directly to the Saudis in July. Anything in retaliation?
Where Biden should have gone was to North Dakota, to West Texas, to find a domestic supply of oil and natural gas and the energy that the United States needs. Instead, the Biden administration went to Saudi Arabia, and what did we get? A 2 million barrel per day production cut. Prices are moving up, and here is exactly what families can't afford right now. Biden made a mistake by going to Saudi Arabia. We're paying the price for the weak foreign policy.
Terms we'll notice. But staying on this issue just for a moment long, the issue of OPEC Plus aligning with Russia over American interests. Simon Johnson wrote in this op-ed published in the LA Times this week, need to decide whose side they are on for what comes next. The pretty big headline out of Ukraine today is this massive bridge to Crimea explosion. Trey Yanks did an excellent job kind of highlighting the impact of that. Is OPEC making a bad choice here?
That they're going to play. They're concerned simply about making money. They're making deals between Saudi Arabia and what appears like Russia, and it's at the expense of American consumers. This is why it's all the more important that we have a domestic supply of energy here in the United States. We're also seeing that not only from an economic standpoint, but from a national security standpoint. We can see clearly the challenges that countries like Germany are facing from finding themselves dependent on foreign oil, in Germany's case, Russia. We need to make sure that we have a domestic supply, and the Biden administration continues to move us in the wrong direction by here in the United States of America.
None of the president's comment that our country is as close to Armageddon as it was during the Cuban Missile Crisis. That dates back, of course, to the 1960s. This is seen as a reference to Putin's escalation, the threats to use nuclear weapons. Biden made it disconcerting from a U.S. president, but this president has often had his words walk back, rephrased, softened.
Bad options here. One, two, if that is actually what his assessment is, that we are at that level of risk, what the heck is he doing at a fundraiser and spending the week in Delaware? If that's the case, he should be in the Situation Room having conversations with our military leaders, working to de-escalate the situation. It's one of two bad options. He misspoke, that's dangerous, or he said what he believes, and then he's doing all the wrong things by going and being on vacation and doing fundraisers rather than ratcheting down what is a very serious foreign situation.
Yeah. You know, final thoughts. As this nuclear state, rogue regime, they've been conducting just this flurry of missile tests, advantage of a situation unfolding globally, the global energy challenges, the situation in Ukraine. And should we, the United States and our partners, take care not to be too distracted?
We see a lot of global actors right now taking advantage of the fact that the United States is negotiating from a position of weakness rather than from a position of strength. They see Biden as weak following the botched evacuation of Afghanistan. That's one of the reasons that Putin invaded Ukraine. It's one of the reasons we see North Korea acting out in the manner that they are. They believe Biden is weak. That was stemming from paying the price globally for the position of weakness that the Biden administration has put the United States of America in.
All right, Congressman Brian Stile, thank you so much for joining us on a Saturday afternoon and for covering an enormous amount of ground with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Alicia?
Thanks, Molly. And for the other side of the aisle, joining us now live is Democratic Congressman from Massachusetts and member of the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, Jake Auchincloss. He also serves on the House Financial Services Committee. President and your party, let's begin with energy. I want to start by putting up a tweet but my generation from both sides of the aisle should come together so that we are the last one for which clean energy independence is a partisan issue. With that comment in mind and the fact that OPEC is planning strategic petroleum reserve and the White House is making overtures toward Venezuela, is right now a time to be calling for this as opposed to boosting domestic production?
Yes, it is. President Biden inherited a situation in which countries like Russia, Saudi Arabia, Iran, and Venezuela have outsized international influence because of their fossil fuel reserves. I don't want my kids to inherit a geopolitical situation in which those four regimes have outsized influence. We need to, like from the other side of the aisle said, but what he's missing is that by doubling down on an oil addiction, we actually exacerbate the systems that leverage and that improve the influence that countries like Saudi Arabia have. We are creating more jobs in this economy right now from clean energy than from fossil fuel energy. And by doubling down on clean energy, we can leave a planet with cleaner air and cleaner water for our children. I want the United States to be independent in our energy reserves. I think both parties agree on that. What the Republicans are missing is that we need to transition to clean energy for a healthier planet and for a more secure
countries, especially when you're talking about places like Venezuela, to quote, and if you're concerned about the Venezuela versus the United States, where we actually have
reserves that are not fossil fuel based, we have to recognize that if we have 2 to 2.5 degrees of Celsius increase by 2050, this planet is going to be much less habitable and hospitable for our children, which means we need to transition to clean energy. We have less influence over what foreign nations are doing. We do have influence over what we do here. Offshore wind, geothermal, fusion, solar, improved battery technology, 117th Congress. And all of these things worry about what countries like Iran and Saudi Arabia and Russia are doing with their oil supplies. We want to leave a future for our kids of clean energy security.
Petroleum reserve, once again, isn't that an acknowledgement of Americans' need for fossil fuels?
Nobody is saying that right now the United States is clean energy independent. That is the objective that we are sailing towards, and we're going to have to tack left and right as the wind and the waves hit us, because there's no question that our economy is fossil fuel dependent. The biggest, boldest climate action and clean energy investment in history. We're going to train people to work in clean energy sectors like offshore wind, which will help rejuvenate huge chunks of Massachusetts, solar, battery technology. We're talking about the fastest growing fields of the future, and I want Americans to lead the way here.
I want to ask you about something else here, because you led a bipartisan letter to Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen calling for a cap on Russian oil prices. Can you discuss with us the strategy behind this?
Yes. The objective is twofold. One, lower gas prices for Western consumers, both in Europe and in the United States. Two, to asphyxiate the Kremlin war machine to deprive Vladimir Putin of the hard currency he needs to wage war on Ukraine. Thanks to President Biden's superb leadership in response to the Russian invasion of Ukraine, we have been able on their central bank and on their commercial imports. The last remaining critical element here would really deprive the Russian war machine of their critical input of hard cash.
Now, on the topic of Russia, the president used this term Armageddon. What's responsible for the president to be using a term like Armageddon when our strategic position has not changed on nuclear weapons?
The president was using an offhand hyperbolic flourish to display a maniacal dictator who is increasingly backed into a corner because he's losing that war in Ukraine. I think we're seeing acts of desperation in his nuclear saber rattling, although I think it's important to underscore that there has been no change in the Russian nuclear posture. And also we're seeing Vladimir Putin losing this war. And we need to double down on our support for Ukraine. We're going to stand by them in this winter to come.
Democratic Congressman Jake Auchincloss, thank you so much for the conversation today. We appreciate you coming on. Have a good one.
Into the city. More buses from Texas arrived early this morning. Charles Watson joins us now live.
State of emergency, and among other things, is calling on federal aid to help the city with the large groups of migrants that are being bused from the southern border into New York City daily. They're seeing about 6 buses of migrants a day. We've been 17,000 migrants have Arizona seeking to pressure the Biden administration into changing border policy. Adams says it's causing a crisis in New York's shelter system, with asylum seekers amounting to about 20% of the shelter population. City agencies are now working together to build migrant housing quicker, but
this is a humanitarian crisis that started with violence. Thousands of asylum seekers have been bused into New York City and simply dropped off.
Yeah, and so Adams has largely focused his frustrations on Republicans like Texas Governor Greg Abbott, accusing them of using migrants as political pawns. But busing migrants up north appears to be a bipartisan effort. The Democratic mayor of El Paso, for example, which has been overwhelmed by border crossings, has bused at least 7,300 migrants to New York City since the end of August. That's more than the state of Texas as well. They're not coming to El Paso, Molly. They're coming to America. Back to you.
All right, Charles Watson covering this ongoing story for us. We appreciate it.
We are learning new details about the legal status and background of the man arrested for the deadly knife attacks.
This program is brought to you by Progressive, comparing rates to help you save. Now that's Progressive.
Well, the sun is shining and the grass is green. I'm way ahead of schedule with my trust on the coy.
And your truck's been demolished by the Peterson boy. Yeah.
Owning a small business gets real. Progressive helps protect what you built with affordable coverage.
Age is just a number, and mine's unlisted.
Try Boost High Protein with 20 grams of protein for muscle health versus 16 grams in Ensure High Protein. Boost High Protein also has key nutrients for immune support. Boost High Protein.
I just switched to Verizon Business Unlimited. It is just right for my little business.
Switch to Verizon Business Unlimited today from the network America relies on.
David?
I got this. My son Dave Jr. is busy, but I watch a lot of financial news on Sling TV. Don't store all your crypto under your mattress.
With Sling, be confident you're getting the TV for dandruff. And then I found Nizoral. Nizoral works differently to get to the root cause of dandruff. In fact, its active ingredient is 10 times more effective at fighting fungus. The primary...
Start training in here. Introducing Win Reality. Game speed pitches anywhere, anytime. Hands in sync with eyes. Confidence in sync with your progress. Be ready for real. Win Reality.
Now's the time for cleaner indoor air with an air duct cleaning from Stanley Steamer. You've known us for carpet cleaning, but we've been cleaning air ducts for over 20 years. We do things today.
Bum, bum.
Here goes nothing.
Hey, Greg, your heart.
Really?
Yes. Oh, you know it. Cardia offers the only personal EKGs that detect 6 of the most common arrhythmias in just 30 seconds. So you can manage your heart health from home or on the go. Your heart rhythm is normal. No arrhythmias in sight.
I wonder what my doctor would say.
Ooh, let's find out. With Cardia, you can email your EKG directly to them or ports and automatic EKG sharing.
What next?
Let's get some fresh air. Been cooped up for too long.
Yeah.
Bum, bum.
Cardia mobile card is available for just $99. Get yours at cardia.com or Amazon.
After using the Weed Killer Roundup, you may qualify for financial compensation. Call Liberty League. Roundup was a problem.
Call 800-720-8009.
We are now learning that the man accused of killing 2 people and injuring 6 others in a stabbing rampage on the Las Vegas Strip this week was in the United States illegally. Christina Coleman joins us now live with the latest. Christina.
Spree with a 12-inch kitchen knife near the Wynn Hotel in Las Vegas Thursday morning. According to an arrest report, he thought someone laughed at him and then, quote, let out his anger. Well, since is a Guatemalan national with a criminal record here in California. And Clark County's DA says regardless of Barrios' citizenship status, his office is considering whether to seek the death penalty based on the evidence in this case.
I'm not thinking about deportation right now. I'm thinking about filing very serious charges based upon the evidence.
Here in downtown Los Angeles asking for help shortly before the attack. Also, the police report states that Barrios went to the Strip in around 11:30 Thursday morning in broad daylight. Barrios is accused of stabbing 8 people along the Vegas Strip in that unprovoked attack, killing 2 of them. The police report states that he approached a group of 4 showgirl impersonators, said he was a chef, asked to take a picture with them while holding this big kitchen knife, then stabbed 2 of them. One of them, 30-year-old Maurice DiGiovanni, was killed, and another victim, 47-year-old Brent Hallett, was also killed during that stabbing rampage. Now, 2 counts of murder and 6 counts of attempted murder with a deadly weapon. Molly?
All right, Christina Coleman with those really awful details. Thank you so much.
Now for a look at some of our headlines. 2 men are now facing charges after a father of 3 was shot and killed in a Courtyard Marriott hotel in upstate New York last week. Officials say the victim was in town for family weekend at Marist College, where his son is a student. Authorities are calling the shooting an unprovoked of the so-called Green Goblin Gang. The group allegedly attacked a pair of 19-year-old women on a Manhattan subway while wearing full-body green leotards. The bizarrely dressed gang was seen punching and robbing the train passengers before running away. All 4 identified suspects have prior criminal histories. Anna Sorokin, the fake German heiress and subject of the Netflix show Inventing Anna, is out of prison. The 31-year-old had been in ICE detention for more than a year after first serving nearly 4 years behind bars for a lengthy scamming spree. Sorokin was found guilty.
Thousands of homeowners have roof damage around Fort Myers, Florida, and FEMA. We have Fox Weather's Will Nunley. He is in front of the first home.
Showers in the forecast. The need for protecting the roofs in this area is great, and that's where the U.S. is part of Operation Blue Roof. The crews just stepped in about an hour ago to work on this home. Already they have it covered. They've been able to get some of the debris and some of the old shingles off the roof and get that cover in place. It's meant to be a Band-Aid, essentially. This is have an overhaul on a lot of these roofs, and boy, is there demand. I just spoke with the Corps just a moment ago. They say nearly 17,000 homeowners have signed up to receive this assistance. Roof cover here. She actually rode out the storm in the home, and she says she's never going to do that again, first of all, but she's grateful for the help. Take a listen.
The wind just was whooping. It like it was a tornado. It'll whoop, and then it'll come to my front door, and then you'll hear that pop. And I was praying to the Lord, please keep this door. You just got to work together to get everything back.
Teams working throughout these harmed counties. And if you want to join the waiting list, if you know someone here in the area that may need this assistance, you can find us on foxweather.com, and we're going to link you to all the resources because they are still accepting signups for this very important program, Molly.
Yeah, this is incredible. They're working fast. Will, this is a special type of material that they're putting up on those roofs, right?
Yeah, this is reinforcement. This is a section that they just brought to me here a second ago, and it's meant to protect from the heavier rains, from the wind, to give a little bit more of a protective cover. But again, this is just a Band-Aid until the real work can happen with replacing the roof in its entirety. Molly?
Yeah, 17,000 on the list. That's incredible. Fox Weather app. Go to foxweather.com or scan the QR code now. It is a great app. It works really well. It's awesome.
With just a month until midterm elections, we're hearing from a panel of small business owners from battleground Pennsylvania who are weighing in on their highly contested Senate race. Next.
Be ready for every moment with Glucerna. It's the #1 doctor-recommended brand that's scientifically designed to help manage your blood sugar. Live every moment. Glucerna.
Oh, look at that one.
Look at those two. When is the last time they were this happy?
I know, right? This place is pretty special.
It really is.
walk or even read a prescription bottle can be impossible. Introducing Eye Candy. This is an optical grade lens that enlarges print by 300%.
Fantastic.
Embedded in Eye Candy's flashlight and magnifier in one.
Even with my reading glasses.
Candy is ideal for extended periods of reading or when you're on the go.
I use Eye Candy when I go out to dinner. Reading the menu? So much easier, especially in the dim light.
Zooming in on your electronic devices only lets you see a small portion of your message or pictures. With Eye Candy, you can see it all.
I showed it to my husband and it strangely disappeared. I purchased 2 more. We keep one in the kitchen, one in the garage, and one in the car.
Read recipes, prescription bottles, or nutritional information, and never miss the fine print. Order now to get your Eye Candy for only $19.99. But wait, there's breaking news. Eye Candy may be discontinued. A strict limit of 3 Eye Candies per order while supplies last. You still have time to get your very own Eye Candy, but you must act fast. Once the current inventory is gone, it's gone forever. Order now.
So call 1-800.
Hi, I'm attorney Don McCary, a proud veteran who's been helping Marines and their families for decades. And then your veteran's disability claim. There's a lot of confusing information out there, so I put together a
That's 800-800-2088. Call right now.
Hi, I'm William Devane. The future of our country is hanging in the balance, which is why, as a good American, I'm going to do 2 things. I'm against runaway inflation and all that paper money being printed around the world by unstable governments. Whether you want new or old gold or premium collector coins, Rosalind has them all. And what you order is what you get. No gimmicks, no nonsense, no hassle. So do your part to protect your future. Vote and buy gold from Rosalind Capital.
And a free IRA transfer kit. And for a limited time, Rosalind is offering a $1,000 discount free to qualifying new customers. Call 800-630-8900, 800-630-8900, 800-630-8900.
The battle for Pennsylvania's Senate seat is heating up as recent polling shows Democrat nominee is tightening. 2 local small business owners join us. Oz supporter and Scott. So much. I am so delighted to talk to you both because that's really what is so much fun about covering politics, talking to the real people that are on the ground and the issues they care about. Scott, I want to start with you. I want to give each of you a chance to kind of talk a little bit about your businesses and also the candidate you're supporting and why. Scott, go ahead.
Hi, we're in York Beer Tap Room. I have about 40 employees, open 7 days a week. Big part of like the renaissance of downtown York, I think.
And why are you backing Fetterman?
I'm backing Fetterman for numerous reasons. Mostly, I've sort of been a lifelong Democrat. I believe in the social issues that Democrats believe in, but I also believe in a lot of the other policies that can affect my business positively, such as potential universal health care. A lot of that affects food and beverage employees especially, and self-employed people. Other things would be affected by senators or politicians. That's, those are some of my, but a lot of it is also just personally.
Yeah, a lot of people watching that one as well. Warren Hudak, I want to bring you in as well. A little bit about your business in
Pennsylvania. 90% of our business is small business owners. When I first met Dr. Oz, he talked about his background as a successful surgeon. He talked about the invention of a heart valve that improved mortality by 41%. But he lamented numbers of people that I understand that as a small business owner, talking to other small business owners, my clients, what this current administration's energy policy and economic policy, generational businesses are done, finished, stopped. We just had a conversation with a business owner on Thursday. His sales are down 75%. He says, can you help me? Our economic policy.
You're talking about something that I think a lot affected by running a...
People who work for me do not have health care. I pay for my own health care. At one point I did, but most of them aren't full-time anyway. Most people work less than 30 hours a week. That's sort of the way it tends to work, at least in our business. And so you don't want to pay all those premiums. Most of the industrialized countries of the world that increase crime, to just hopelessness for a lot of people.
Yeah, you know, this race is tightening. We've seen Dr. Oz gaining some ground with Fetterman still a little bit ahead. And when we look at the important issues, when voters have been asked, you know, what matters to them, inflation is a really, really big one. You know, Warren, you understand that people have things that they have to balance, and that this is a major hit to the American pocketbook right now, especially for families. I'm going to get your thoughts on this critical issue.
One is the way Biden and Fetterman are doing it, which is making it so difficult for the average consumer to consume goods, raising inflation, putting the brakes on the economy. Oz thinks we could do it differently. Hit the supply chain problem, right? Why is it? At what point does this become a national security issue? But yet Fetterman and Biden allow fentanyl and our Border Patrol to be overwhelmed so they can't prevent these pills coming across the border to infect consumer that's being demanded. The other night, 10 o'clock at night, I'm sitting there, we're filling up my daughter's car with $12.
That is something that a lot of voters out there can identify with, a lot of families, the gas price issue, and we'll be watching that closely in the weeks ahead as we inch closer to the midterms. Warren Hudak, Scott Eden, thank you both so much for joining us on a Saturday, giving us some insights into what business folks are thinking about in Pennsylvania here with a few weeks to go. Much appreciated. Lisa?
Thank you.
And Molly, the migrant surge at the border is also a hot button issue for the midterms. Griff Jenkins joins us.
Round zero for Biden's border crisis of Eagle Pass, and the congressman for this district, Tony Gonzalez, joins us exclusively coming up next.
It's the greatest sandwich roster ever assembled.
Next is the new Great Garlic.
The tender rotisserie-style chicken is sublime, and the roasted garlic aioli adds a lovely piquant flavor.
Man, the second retirement really changed you. The new Subway series. What's your pick?
Give your business an advantage right now with nationwide 5G from T-Mobile for Business. Unlock new insights and efficiency with leading ultra-capacity 5G.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and in light of the recent events, your continued MyPillow bedding. Get MyPillow bed sheets for as low as $29.98. A set of pillowcases for only $9.98. In this economy, instead of buying a new bed, rejuvenate your bed with a MyPillow mattress topper for as low as $99.99. We also have blankets for as low as $29.98. We even have pet blankets and so much more. So go to MyPillow.com or call that number on your screen. Use your promo code 998. Get all your
about life insurance. Remember the 3 Ps.
What are the 3 Ps?
The 3 Ps of life insurance on a fixed budget are price, price, and price. A price you can afford, a price that can't increase, and a price that fits your budget.
I'm 54. What's my price?
You can get coverage for $9.95 a month.
I just turned 80. What's my price?
$9.95 a month for you too. Available through the Colonial Penn program. It has an affordable rate starting at $9.95 a month. No medical exam, no health questions. Your acceptance is never go up for any reason. So call now for free information, and you'll also get this free beneficiary planner. And it's yours free, just for calling. So call now for free information.
Call 1-800-482-1800 for your free information and free gift. That's 1-800-482-1800. 1-800-482.
Only friends and my passion, playing the drums. Connecting with others through music fills my soul. But these days, it can come with a price. I move better without pain. I just feel better. Would you like to get back to living the life you used to live without aches and pains, including elbow, hip, knee, neck, and back pain? That's what Relief Factor has done for me. I feel the difference all day, every day. By taking Relief Factor, I can live the life I want to control of your pain. Call 1-800-I and hundreds of thousands of Americans are doing, and just enjoy your life more with Relief Factor.
Tony Gonzalez. Hi, Griff.
Just in the Del Rio sector, since I have been here since the new fiscal year began on October 1st. Congressman, your thought?
Non-stop chaos from day one. I did a ride-along with the Eagle Pass Police Department, and what we were seeing is stash house after stash house right across the border. They're seeing an increase in the number of fentanyl-related calls. This is happening all over my district, but Eagle Pass is at the center of it.
Congressman, yesterday, Governor Abbott was really touting Operation Lone Star, some 311,000 apprehensions. Are we better off, or is it getting worse?
I've seen it getting worse. I mean, it is literally all hands on deck from what's caused this problem. We have Kamala Harris, who's along the border. You know, there was a case. I was having lunch with one of the sheriffs from Zavala County, and he was telling me how there was a child that was in a baseball game and got hit in the head, and he was supposed to get airlifted to San Antonio for care, but there were no resources because everything was put towards the migrants.
We just had yesterday, Congressman, we were showing our viewers ambulances had to take 10 Nicaraguans who had been in a car accident on that side. They were
Everyday Americans are school a couple months ago. A lot of my schools are going into lockdown on a regular basis. This is not normal. There's nothing normal about this. Biden and the House Democrats have failed us. House Republicans have a plan. Our commitment to America, part of that is to secure the southern border.
How will Republicans, even if you take the House, and that's the only control of this border here?
Yeah, no, right now the cartels have taken a $500 million smuggling with the power of the purse. I sit on the Appropriations Committee. It's time for House Republicans to lead.
Congressman, we've been reporting on a TikTok video verified by Texas DPS advertising for a driver to drive from McAllen to Houston, $70,000. Cartels taken to social media.
Griff, what I'm seeing is the cartels are contracting it out to gangs and organized criminals, and those gangs are subcontracting it out to everyday people. So that TikTok video may have been $70,000 advertisement, but will get impacted. I asked the sheriff the other month, they caught 5 National Guardsmen that were caught smuggling as well.
Wow. Not getting any better here. Congressman Tony Gonzalez is going to be also meeting with some business people and I believe a family member, a grieving parent from Fentanyl. Congressman, good luck. Thank you for being here.
To over 140 cities in the hands of the Islamic regime's morality police. We will take a closer look next.
I got Ty last December. I've spent almost every minute with her since. When I first brought her home, she was eating little brown pieces in a bag, and it was just what kind of came recommended. Just always thought dog food. Her skin was better, she was more active, high quality poops. If I can invest in her health and...
This season, Sling has the channel lineup to channel your college football. So you can catch the Hail Marys, witness every miracle, see the big games and the bowl games for less. Channel your football with Sling TV.
Hi, my name's Steve. I lost 138 pounds on Golo, and I kept it off. Golo has changed my life in so many ways. Before, I was over 300 pounds. Now, I literally have the ability to take a shirt off and go out in the sun, where I would have never done that before. Try Golo. It works.
Dermatitis, under control.
Hi, my skin, not me.
Because Dupixent targets a root cause of eczema, it helps heal your skin just feels. And that's the kind of change you need severe. Tell your doctor about new or worsening eye problems such as eye pain or vision changes, including blurred view. Doctor, child's eczema specialist about Dupixent, a breakthrough eczema treatment.
A red wave coming to Washington State? How one GOP candidate is closing the gap on a 30-year Senate holder. Tiffany Smiley discusses her strategy to officially flip the seat tonight on One Nation.
Have you heard? The United States Mint has issued the Morgan silver dollar for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 175,000 legal tender silver dollars were issued. These Morgan silver dollars are brand new, bright and shiny legal tender coins minted by the iconic Philadelphia Mint for Morgan dollar. The first time in history this has happened. But with limited quantities, you must call now to order. To learn more, call 1-800-222-0984. If you order now, you'll receive a free collector bonus, a $25 value free with every order. Call 1-800-222-0984 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-222-0984.
Bum, bum.
Here goes nothing.
Hey, Greg.
Hello?
Good news.
On for the 4th weekend in a row as a mother was beaten to death for protesting. Kitty Logan is live with more on this. Kitty.
Hi, Molly. And yes, there are reports of yet more anti-government protests across Iran on Saturday. At least 2 people killed in those demonstrations, which are now into their 3rd week. Now, this video shows female protesters dressed in black. They're facing the biggest protests in years. Custody last month, detained by Iran's morality, claiming to show Masha and other women entering a room when she collapsed. The official cause of death was lack of oxygen to the brain, which the government claims was caused by a medical condition. Her family have disputed this official account, claiming she was killed by authorities while in detention. But meanwhile, as you mentioned, the mother of another teenage girl who died during a recent protest has also spoken out, warning from a building, but her friends say they last heard from her when she was being chased by police. Now, the death of Isha's funeral, and they're spreading right across the country. Authorities have tried to crack down. It's thought dozens more may have been killed and perhaps hundreds arrested. Now, the question is, Molly, whether these protests will continue to have momentum.
Yeah, incredible bravery shown by these young women. Kitty Logan, thank you. Alicia?
And Molly, America topics for the midterms. Our political panel joins us at the
Even walking was tough.
I had to do something. I started Cosentix.
Cosentix can help you move, look, and feel better by treating the multiple symptoms of psoriatic arthritis. Don't use if you're allergic to Cosentix. Before starting, get checked for tuberculosis. An increased risk of infections, some serious, and the lowered ability to fight or worsen. Serious allergic reactions may occur.
Watch me.
Ask your rheumatologist about Cosentix.
Race car drivers change lanes very wide-angle mirror that reduces blind spots. And now may be your last chance to get one before they're gone. Angel View simply snaps over your car's rear view mirror. Mirrors are small and flat, but Angel View has a huge mirror with curved glass. This convex shape allows you to see both blind spots with one glance. Here's what you see with that ordinary rear view mirror, and here's what you see with Angel View. Look, over 800,000 blind spot accidents occur each year. You think you're clear to change lanes, but you're not. And that's why they call it a blind spot. But Angel View's crystal clear mirror gives you perfect panoramic vision without that awful fisheye effect like other little mirrors. And with our Pro Edition special coating, it's anti-glare at night. Angel View installs in seconds to virtually any car or SUV. And the spring-loaded rubber feet automatically adjust to hold on tight. With Angel View, you see them. Without it, you won't. Get your Angel View now for just $19.99 through this special offer. But wait, there's breaking news. Angel View may be discontinued. Due to rising costs and supply chain shortages, Angel View is stopping manufacturing effective immediately. There is a strict limit of 3 Angel View.
Call 1-800-216-1259. That's 1-800-1259. Order now.
You know when you start up a motorcycle and you hear it go vroom, vroom, vroom when it takes off? I was losing that. I was losing my energy. I started using Balance of Nature about 1.5 years ago. Noticed the results immediately. I missed my va-va voom. I got it back.
Start your journey by going to balanceofnature.com and use discount code KLG.
I've been in show business my entire life. I know when someone's an actor or an actress. And I'd hear Balance of Nature's product that they love. Balance of Nature. I want it to do for them.
You are looking live. This is New York City. The 9th and final bus, expected today at least, filled with migrants being shipped up from Texas in the South, continuing. The man accused of killing 2 people and injuring several others in a stabbing rampage on the Las Vegas Strip was in the United States illegally. Sources are telling Fox News the suspect is a Guatemalan national with a prior criminal record in California. Welcome to Fox News Live.
Tourists and some Las Vegas locals in a fit of rage earlier this week. Our Christina Coleman is live with the latest details. Christina.
32-year-old Yanni Barrios asked some showgirl impersonator. Barrios is now at Wynn Hotel in Las Vegas Thursday morning. Since the attack, we've learned Barrios is in the country illegally here in California. Clark County's DA says regardless of Barrios' citizenship status, his office is considering whether to seek the death penalty based on the evidence in this case.
I'm not thinking about deportation right now. I'm thinking about filing very serious charges based upon the evidence.
Telemundo reports that Berrios was outside a city hall in downtown Los Angeles asking for help just days prior to this deadly attack. Also, the police report states that Berrios went to Las Vegas to stay with a friend, but the friend told him that he could not trip in an unprovoked attack, killing 2 victims. He allegedly approached a group of 4 showgirl impersonators, said he was a chef, asked to take a picture. Maurice DiGiovanni was killed, and another victim, 47-year-old Brent Hallett, was also killed during this stabbing rampage. And tourists, of course, were in shock.
Unreal. I mean, one guy could do all of this to begin with.
It's frightening, and I feel very bad for the Strip. And you wouldn't ever think about being afraid to walk along here.
Berrios' arraignment is scheduled for Tuesday. He's facing 8 charges so far, 2 counts of murder and 6 counts of attempted murder with a deadly weapon. Alicia?
An absolutely terrifying incident. Christina Coleman, thank you for the update. Molly?
The White House trying to soften President Biden's Armageddon. More on this.
Came from Ukraine during the Cuban Missile Crisis, and now 60 years later, another U.S. president where his comments were leaked to the press. Quote, "We have not faced the prospect of Armageddon since chemical and nuclear weapons or biological or chemical weapons.
We have not seen any reason to adjust our own nuclear posture."
Molly, Russia enjoys a big advantage in tactical nuclear warheads. It has 2,000 of them and can launch them from jets, fighter jets, and short-range Iskander ballistic missiles and Caliber cruise missiles, the same types of missiles Russia is already firing into Ukraine today. The U.S. has 200 tactical nukes and only 100 currently deployed to Europe right now, spread across 5 bases in Italy, Germany, the Netherlands, Belgium, and Turkey. Turning to the economy, not as alarming as the prospect of nuclear war, here's the president's top economic advisor on the recent jobs report.
I think you have to recognize 263,000 jobs in September. That's a good solid number, but it's way behind the 500,000 job gains that we were posting a year ago.
The last set of inflation data comes out Thursday, covering at near 40-year highs. Molly?
Lucas Tomlinson covering all things from the White House there in Wilmington for us. Thank you.
The midterms are only 1 month away, and President Donald Trump and Trump, patriots of 2 nations. Spencer Critchley. Gentlemen, thank you both for being here. The issues that are important to Americans, and you folks can see it there. Inflation at 82%, the most important issue, followed by crime at 72% and abortion at 56%. Spencer, I'll go to you first. Republicans are on the campaign. Democrats are often responding with abortion.
Slow to learn this is to focus on the values first that matter most to Americans. Of the neck, and the other party, I'm sorry to say, I think is stuck below. Democrats, I think, are right to focus on the values in the abortion debate, decency and respect, and avoiding cruelty, avoiding telling people what to do in their lives, and essentially fundamental equality. These are things that we all agree with at conception, but we can even debate those things with respect for each other's positions if we recognize that we share points. Focus on the values that almost all Americans share.
William, I want to give you a chance to respond.
Yeah, I think that this values argument is exactly wrong. Republicans are focused where they should be, which is how do we improve the U.S. economy? How do we get inflation under control when American working families are struggling to pay for gas, food, and all of the things that they feel safe, especially in the urban and suburban areas? And the Republicans are rightly focused on these issues because these are the...
Well, and
if I could, those all sort of support the point I just made, because if you drill down into the actual facts on each one of those issues, Democrats win the argument, but they lose the argument when it's made about emotions and values. So, for example, Democratic presidential administrations have overseen better economies for everybody, going back as far as we have data into the early 30s, and yet it's very common, even on the left, to believe that somehow Republicans are better. Not that that means all that much. Than in blue states. And there are bipartisan solutions to crime, including violent crime, that we know work, that are backed by Republicans and Democrats, but we get off track when it becomes this emotion-driven tribalistic sort of argument. Now, Democrats can win with positive values.
Yeah, I think
on all
I'm
of these.
Spencer, I actually need to push back a little bit on the crime issue that you're discussing here, because we also see a lot of Democratic-run cities that are experiencing a tremendous spike in crime. There is a Washington Post talking point right now that blames Fox News for highlighting this, but we're highlighting this is where you're talking about huge population centers where Americans are very concerned about crime. In New York City alone, violent crime spike has gone up from 2021 to 2022 to more than 32%. People are scared to walk outside in some of these cities. William, I want to give you a chance here.
Yeah, I think if you really want to unpack what my colleague just said here, is once again, they're telling you what to think, not how to think. A failing public education system that's disserving their children. They understand that the prices for the basic needs of a household, from food spikes, are impacting in a material way every family. This is the problem that we have right now with the Democrats in control of Washington. They think this is a messaging that no messaging is going to.
I do want you to have a chance to respond, especially when it comes to the economy right now, because there's really no dancing around it for Democrats right now.
Well, this is the point. If Democrats get drawn into this as if these concerns actually mattered to the Republican Party, then they lose. None of these arguments that, unfortunately, William just cited are actually backed up by the evidence. Now, the thing is that the economy is actually, apart from inflation, which is a complicated problem, doing very well under Biden. But that's an argument that's hard to win on the details because, yeah, inflation feels against each other. And when people cherry pick data points and try to get us to respond emotionally to complex issues, no, it's not the voters who win, whether they're on the right or the left. This is, and it's not a messaging problem that Democrats have. I agree, and Democrats who think this is about messaging are wrong. It's about connecting with in their heads, and they'll get into the weeds on these arguments and show that the data is on their side, but end up somehow losing the argument because voters are feeling like, do they not get how much I care about this? Democrats need to show, yeah, we totally get how much you care about this. We care about this, and we can show by our actions that we're actually doing things for you, not just for people at the top who might benefit from getting you upset.
Well, and Spencer, I mean, I'll take your point on that, you know, constant fighting and infighting in the parties as well doesn't help anyone. However, on the economy, regardless of what is said and regardless of what people, but I'd like to move on to education and parental control and parental concerns when it comes to public education, about what's taught in public schools. Extremely or very concerned came back at 71%. And William, I'm going to begin with you because this is a big issue out there. However, I'm just wondering, do you think Republicans have the discipline to focus on this enough out there? Because so many people really do want to hear that things are going to improve.
Yeah, I really do think that Republicans have the discipline, and they have been talking about it on the campaign trail. There's no more important issue to the future of this country than to get a proper education to Americans' children. Every parent out there wants their child to learn how to think critically, and be a problem solver, as opposed to being what to believe in the public schools and the private education of the children. And as we saw during the pandemic, America's parents actually got the curtain pulled back to see what type 2022 midterm elections is, because parents have a great argument for why we need school choice now. It's why we need to make education a national security issue and really make it a national drive to improve the STEM education and other critical issues that children need to learn for America to be competitive in the world marketplace going forward.
Spencer, what are your thoughts on this topic? Because we've seen over the past couple of years, ever since we went to remote learning, a lot of parents showing up at these school board meetings incredibly.
If you run these massive campaigns promoting the idea that the most radically woke fringe of the left is running the school system, then after a while people start to believe it. Then they show up at school board meetings to complain, understandably, and then that becomes a news story, and that reinforces the whole cycle. But it's not actually happening. Now, again, where Democrats fall down is they're often too slow to just assert the basic values that, again, we all share. We don't want the government telling parents how to raise their children, and we don't want indoctrination in the schools. There's no anywhere near close to the mainstream Democrat who thinks that's a good idea, but it's not happening.
We much for joining us today.
My pleasure.
Thanks for having us.
And tomorrow on Fox News Sunday, Shannon Bream will local listings for time and channel. And tomorrow on Media Buzz, Howard Kurtz will break down the media's reaction to the Herschel Walker abortion allegations, the latest on the Hunter Biden investigation, and more. Only on the Fox News channel at 11 a.m. Eastern. Don't miss it.
A massive explosion causing the partial collapse of a 12-mile-long bridge connecting Ukraine's Crimea Peninsula to the Russian mainland, cutting off a key supply route to Russian forces. Trey Yingst has the details from Kharkiv, Ukraine. Trey.
Molly, good afternoon. A massive explosion fire decimating the road and train sections of the bridge, sending large pieces of concrete plunging into the water below. The Russians say 3 people died after a truck exploded.
Investigative actions are being carried out at his place of residence. They're out of movement, vehicles.
Russia used this bridge as a main supply line to support their southern offensive in the Kherson region, and the destruction is viewed as a significant of Kharkiv. Over in Kharkiv, we felt the blast, the windows shaking as this city tonight is preparing for the possibility of more.
Just reporting here in the United States, walking back what he meant by that. Your thoughts on the implications there on the ground?
Well, look, this is a country that is certainly bracing for the possibility of nuclear war. In the capital of Kyiv, they were passing out the pills that you would have to take if there was a nuclear disaster. But they're understanding that Vladimir Putin lines, though, soldiers say they're not afraid of any threat by Vladimir Putin, and they will continue to liberate terror. And one soldier pointed to a vehicle that drove by, and he said, "That's American." And he wanted to reiterate how important the American support is for the Ukrainian army amid this war. They are liberating territory, but oftentimes those victories come at an extreme.
And later in the hour, an ambassador for the United Nations Foundation who works tirelessly on those front lines to help Ukrainian refugees and those that are still hurt.
Something location of the shop, which is it's a community hub. It's where people met, especially at 3 o'clock on a Friday evening, and there's a lot of people will be there, and it's just difficult.
The explosion leveled the gas station and damaged a nearby apartment building. It also shattered the windows of cottages located close by. The cause of the blast is still under investigation. Irish officials say emergency workers are still calling
of investigations. Could Hunter Biden be facing charges for his controversial business dealings? More after the break.
With 20 grams of protein for muscle health versus 16 grams in Ensure High Protein. Boost High Protein also has key nutrients.
Verizon has the largest and fastest 5G network, but they know. They only cover select cities with 5G. And with coverage of over 96% of interstate highway miles, they've got us covered.
This is going to be great. Taking the Shaw off, I did it. Is he looking at my hairline?
My joint pain isn't too bad. Well, it wasn't this morning. I hope I can get through this.
Is plaque psoriasis or psoriatic arthritis making you rethink your everyday choices? Blood tests required. Don't use if you're allergic to Otezla. Otezla can cause serious allergic reactions if you have a history of depression or suicidal thoughts, or if these feelings develop. Some people taking Otezla reported weight loss, if you're pregnant or planning to be. Doctors have been prescribing Otezla for over 8 years. Don't hesitate. Ask your doctor about Otezla today.
Hi, I'm attorney Don McCary, a proud veteran who allows victims to file for compensation. This is different than your veteran's disability claim. There's a lot of confusing information out there, so I put together a dedicated team to answer your questions and to take your calls.
Call 800-800-2088. That's 800-800-2088. Call right now.
At the midterms, Shannon has the insight you need on the next Fox News Sunday.
At XChair, we think it also gets down to how you sit, which is why our technology is light years ahead. XChair has done it again with our groundbreaking ELEMAX technology, providing hours of infinite comfort no matter where in the world you're sitting. By synthesizing the universe's elements, bringing hot day can happen with body and mind in an out-of-this-world place of comfort and productive world zoom back and forth. Even focus on the present. At XChair, we're gazing ahead. And from where we sit, the future still feels good. Visit xchair.com today and get 50% off an XHMT heat and massage unit with every chair.
Hello?
It's me, your heart.
Really?
Yes, recording an EKG in 30 seconds. Ta-da!
Wow, that was fast.
Good news, pal. I'm not detecting any of the 6 most common arrhythmias.
What next?
Let's get some fresh air. Been cooped up for too long.
Yeah.
Bum, bum.
Get Cardia Mobile Card at cardia.com or Amazon.
Federal prosecutors are reportedly considering filing charges again. On set with me with the latest on this.
Yeah, there's a whole lot with this. Thanks for having me, Molly. A source close to the investigation indicates to Fox News that there has been growing frustration over how long the Washington Post revealed in a report that agents believe prosecutors do have enough evidence to charge the president's son with tax crimes and with making a false statement related to a gun purchase. Hunter Biden's attorney issued this response saying, quotations such as this one, any agent you cite as a source in your article apparently has committed such a felony. And Fox News has learned that while Attorney General Merrick Garland and Deputy AG Lisa Monaco continue to be briefed, they're taking a strong hands-off approach on this, leaving the complicated call to make this close to the midterms.
Normally, you wouldn't bring a politically charged case right before an election. However, Biden's son is not currently an elected official, hasn't been in the past. He's not a candidate. So it's not clear that rule would apply here.
It's also not clear without more detail what a penalty might look like for potential tax crimes charges. If charged and convicted for a gun registration paperwork violation, then $1,000. But Molly, the attorney is still a waiting game.
Yes, and one that's been going on for years now. Right. Big headline is that federal agents think they have the evidence there to potentially back up charges against Hunter Biden related to taxes, not reporting all income, and also so-called allegations of international influence peddling.
Right? You have an investigation going on for 4 years, and this is the best that they can allegedly come up with. And in effect, gloss over everything else. And I think that's exactly what we're seeing in this case. If Hunter Biden pleads guilty to this, he's not going to go to prison for 10 years. He probably won't do any prison time.
The House, which is a reasonably strong Biden situation. So what is the impact if Hunter is charged with, as you mentioned, these more minimal charges? Where do they go from there?
And this is the best they can. That's why you needed a special counsel investigating this, because Merrick Garland was obviously appointed by Joe Biden. And to think that Merrick Garland and the Department of Justice have no say on this investigation, it basically ignores the reality of this. Because if you're talking about simple tax charges and also lying with respect to a gun registration, that's nothing. That's a nothing burger.
All right. Well, Hunter's attorney has said, quote, "It is regrettable that law enforcement agents appear to be violating the law to prejudice a case against a person who is a target."
Imagine what would happen things if he wasn't the president's son. He would be facing significant jail sentence, prison time, and he probably would have been indicted already. He's receiving special preferential treatment. I think it's crystal clear, and we'll see what charges are actually brought, but it better be more than just the 2 charges that were published in the newspaper yesterday.
All right. Well, we know how you feel about this special counsel, which of course didn't happen. But Attorney General Merrick Garland has said he's going to stay out of this. No improper influence. He's left things in the hands of the U.S. Attorney for Delaware, David Weiss. Charges or not.
I think there's going to be an indictment with respect to the least serious charges possible. And remember, Molly, Democrats have a long history of appointing attorney generals who will protect their interests. You had with respect to Eric Holder as the attorney general. So come on, it's politics for Merrick Garland to say, I'm not going to be in.
As well as the future. I appreciate it. Andrew Stolman, thanks for joining us on this Saturday afternoon.
Anytime, Molly. Thank you.
Alicia?
Molly, the long road to recovery in Florida after Ian.
Okay, everyone. Our mission is to provide complete balanced nutrition for strength and
Ensure complete with 30 grams of protein.
There's juicy steak and crispy bacon.
But what about the new boss? It looks so good. It makes me hangry.
Settle down there, big guy.
The new Subway series. What's your pick?
Love doesn't discriminate. It doesn't pick and choose. When there's so much to fight against, love fights for. When others flee, love runs toward. And when darkness prevails, love remembers its strength. For 156 years, the Salvation Army has loved all who feel lost. With your help, we'll never stop.
Hey, I was thinking about going back to school to get my master's.
I just saw something that said you could do it in a year for like 11K.
Order 11?
Yes, here at 11.
1111 Masters Boulevard.
All around us.
Some things are too obvious to be a coincidence.
Physical health. And we know 80% of couples sleep too hot or too cold. Introducing the new Sleep Number Climate 360 Smart Bed. Bonds to both of you. Our smart sleepers get 28 minutes more restful sleep per night. Proven quality sleep, only from Sleep Number.
Hi, Grandma. I played baseball today.
Oh, that's great.
What position did you play?
It wouldn't allow us to use a regular phone. It made us...
Clear Captions provides captions on a phone like captioning on your TV, so you can see what the caller is saying live as they say it,
making it easy to understand and respond immediately.
There is no insurance or Medicare required. Clear Captions service is provided at no cost to you through a federally...
Give your loved ones the individual.
Call 1-800-916-7705. That's 1-800-916-7705.
When the national debt was larger than gross domestic product, World War II, and right now, that's a deep hole. And I don't know how we'll climb out of it. That's why I buy gold from Roslyn Capital. Roslyn Capital is a trusted leader in helping people acquire precious metals of your wealth. IRA and silver brochure. With Roslyn, there are no gimmicks, no hassles, and they...
Call Roslyn Capital today at 800-630-8900. 800-630-8900. That's 800-630-8900.
Their final search for potential victims as residents slowly return to the island. Nate Foy is live in
right down San Carlos Boulevard. Those reports are that some residents, homeowners on Fort Myers Beach, can now access the northern part of the island, but the southern portion is still blocked off. And the reason why is these efforts are very active right now. The Florida Task Force Rescue Team to find any victims who may be embedded within debris in those hard to reach areas. But they've been on Fort Myers Beach for over a week now. Since 10 p.m. last Wednesday, they've pulled a lot.
The injuries have been coming from those locations that were the hardest hit, and those have been the barrier islands.
And more than that, Molly, the hospitals themselves got hit hard. Two of them especially, they were using generators for those obstacles. Some of them had their families evacuate, so they were separated from their families, including this nurse who we interviewed. His family was in Georgia during the hurricane. Listen to
effort and just kind of live in the moment.
Been restored, so if there are any more, which is likely, injuries during the cleanup process of this hurricane, they will be ready to provide quality care to anybody who might get injured there. We'll send it back to you.
Yeah, you can really feel the stress of the people that are just continuing to live through this as the recovery gets underway. Nate Foy, thank you so much for your reporting. Alicia?
And Molly, dozens of small business owners in Southwest Florida are grappling with the destruction left behind by Hurricane Ian. Joining us now live for a closer look at the storm's devastation. Thank you so much for being here. For those who don't know, Shuckers was an iconic place. That building stood for more than 100 years and withstood 60 hurricanes, I believe, before Ian leveled it. I think you have these employees.
My work family. I love them, and I want to do anything I can for them. But there's a lot of restaurants down there on the beach, and there's a lot of employees that lost their jobs, and quite a few of them. I have about 20 that lost their homes, their cars, everything. And I feel like I just need to do everything I can to keep bringing as much exposure as I possibly can, to keep shining a light on it, because this place was a very special place, a lot of history.